History teaches one thing clearly: the door always shuts, but never with a warning. That's quite a quote to start with, isn't it?
It really is.
Wow.
Powerful and unsettling, like you said. It's
Okay.
from Dr. Lev Neymotin.
Exactly. And it really sets the scene for our deep dive today. We're looking into this piece he wrote, which he calls an appeal for, well, for sanity, specifically aimed at the Jewish community, urging this readiness to leave any country, really. But there's a particular focus, a real urgency he feels about Russia.
Right. So welcome, everyone, to the deep dive.
Today we're going to try and unpack this. It's definitely emotionally charged, very thought-provoking stuff from Dr. Neymotin.
Yeah, our goal here is to walk you through the history he points to, these patterns, his own experiences.
And these urgent warnings he shares. We want you to understand the depth of his perspective, why he feels this is such a critical moment to really listen to the past.
So this whole idea, this Exodus concept,
Yeah.
where does it actually start for him? This piece we're discussing, it's a response to his own Exodus 2025 podcast, right? That's right. And the spark, the real seed for it, seems to be this anecdote he shares, something that clearly affected him deeply.
What was that?
It came from a friend of his, Daniel. Daniel told him about his neighbor's father, who had taught him something very specific.
Okay.
To always keep a gold watch, some cash, things like that, on him, to be ready to just move on at any time, just like they had to during World War II.
Wow. That's quite a lesson to pass down. Very practical in a grim way.
And Daniel didn't just pass on the story. He told Neymotin, look, we live this. He said, we experienced it when we left Tajikistan.
Right. I remember reading that. His father literally needed money and a watch just to navigate the checkpoints, the officials, even the mafia.
Exactly. So it's not ancient history, it's lived reality. It makes it very tangible.
And then Neymotin connects it to himself, doesn't he?
He does. He reveals he's lived by the same rule. He's told his own kids, essentially, wherever you are, unless it's Israel, be ready to flee.
And he makes it clear this isn't some metaphor.
Not at all. He says it was active preparation. Doesn't go into detail, but the message is clear. This is a survival strategy he actively practices.
All stemming from that core belief.
Because history teaches one thing clearly. The door always shuts, but never with a warning. It's that stark.
A survival instinct, really, learned over generations.
Absolutely. And Dr. Neymotin argues this readiness is not just, about current events or policy. He sees it as part of a much larger historical pattern.
A pattern that shaped Jewish survival throughout history, he thinks. Something bigger than politics.
Precisely. Which leads him to this pretty provocative analogy.
The one about Russia?
Yeah. He says, Russia today is our modern Egypt.
And within that, he casts Vladimir Putin as, what was it, the benevolent pharaoh.
That's the term he uses. Someone who right now tolerates Jews, maybe even offers some protection.
But he makes a key distinction there.
A crucial one. He argues that protection is personal, it's tied to Putin, it's not built into the system. And that leads to his really grim forecast.
It's that
He basically says the second he disappears, illness, power shift, death, whatever, the mask will drop.
Okay.
There will be a new pharaoh, and we all know what kind. It's a chilling prediction about what happens when personalized power vanishes.
And he believes that when that day comes, the door will shut fast, hard, and without appeal.
That's his fear. Which brings us back to Daniel, his friend.
Right. Daniel asked him that really direct, almost brutal question.
Yeah. What do we teach our children? Be prepared to run or fight. It really forces you into a corner, doesn't it?
It does. What was Neymotin's answer?
Unambiguous, though he admits it's painful. The former.
Always. We run.
His emphasis is on leaving while the exit door is still open. It's about acting before you lose the choice. Proactive survival.
But he does consider the alternative the absolute last resort.
He does. He says, only when that door slams shut, only then we fight.
And he invokes Masada.
And when we fight all the way.
Hey.
As in Masada. Tragic. Proud. Final. It's that image of a final stand when there's literally no other option left.
It's powerful imagery. And he connects this idea of preparedness back to the original Exodus story too, right?
He does. He reminds us that when the ancient Jews left Egypt, they didn't just, grab their prayer books. They took treasure gold and silver appropriated from their Egyptian owners.
Okay, so how does he interpret that act? What's the significance for him?
He argues it shows they weren't just relying on faith or miracles alone. They left ready.
Ready in a practical sense.
Exactly. Understanding that survival required more than prayer. It required action, practical action, before the door to freedom closed behind them. It was about foresight.
And he draws a direct line from that to today.
Yeah, he says today's treasures might look different. It could be a passport, maybe some foreign currency, euros, a solid plan, a key contact, basically a way out.
So the principle is the same. Leave prepared. Leave before the door shuts. It's about having options, mobility.
That's the core idea. Survival needs foresight, needs practical steps taken before the crisis hits, not just hoping it won't.
This focus on foresight leads him to express some concern about certain groups in Russia currently.
Right. He talks about Jewish educators, missionaries there. He admires their work. He's clear about that.
Sure.
But he worries their very presence, their activity, might unintentionally be creating a dangerous illusion.
An illusion of what? Stability.
Yeah, exactly. That things are stable, that there's plenty of time, that, it's not like Germany in 1938.
And he pushes back hard against that comparison.
He does. He says, well, that's exactly how it was in 1937. People forget the lead up.
Meaning life seemed normal.
Right. There was still music. There were still schools. People were still marrying, praying, building.
Yeah.
Everyday life continued.
Until it didn't.
And then one night, the door slammed shut. That's his point about the suddenness.
And his warning is pretty stark. Those who ignore it help it happen again.
Yeah. It's a heavy responsibility he places there.
So while Russia is a focus, this isn't just about Russia for him, is it?
It's not at all. He doubles down on the message from his Exodus 2025 stuff. Wherever you live, unless it is Israel, you must be ready to flee. He sees it as a universal need for vigilance for Jews outside Israel.
But he does circle back to Russia with particular urgency. He feels the door is already half closed there.
Yes. And he really wants to stress preparedness is not cowardice. It is survival. It's a rational response based on historical patterns as he sees it.
And again, that grim scenario, if the door is shut, bolted.
Only then, he says, then we turn and fight. It's the absolute last resort.
He also has a final word, sort of, for people who choose to stay, who maybe think.
It won't happen here, or we'll know when it's time to go. Those kinds of reassurances.
Yeah. And his response?
His historical lesson is blunt. By the time you know, it's too late. The door's already shut.
So what should people teach their children, according to him?
Keep something valuable close. Keep your eyes open, and never assume the door will stay open forever. Basic vigilance, constant awareness.
And then he expands this warning even further, almost chillingly.
Yeah, he says it almost in a half whisper, that there's an exit door in every country, even in America.
Even America, that feels unthinkable to many.
He acknowledges that. He says, as unthinkable as it feels, I've learned never to trust that it will always stay open. No country is immune. Not forever.
Wow. So, wrapping this up, what's the absolute core takeaway from Neymotin's perspective?
It really boils down to this. Jews have always survived by reading the signs. The signs are here.
And he's adamant this isn't panic or alarmism.
No, he frames it as not hysteria. It is memory. This is not prophecy. It is pattern. He calls it Exodus 2025.
So the choice he presents is stark.
Extremely stark. Essentially, prepare to run while the door is still open. That's option one. Or prepare for Masada when the door is slammed shut. Vigilance and escape, or a final tragic stand. That's the binary he leaves us with.
It's definitely a chilling perspective, and it forces us, I think, to consider how these historical patterns of displacement, of needing to be ready, might not just be history lessons.
Right. They could have relevance anywhere, anytime.
So maybe the provocative thought for you, listening, is this. What are the personal treasures you cultivate? Not just for day-to-day life, but for resilience, for preparedness, if the unthinkable were to happen closer to home.
What signs are we all reading or maybe overlooking in our own societies today? It's a heavy question, but one Dr. Neymotin insists we need to ask.